Over September 22, bombardments by the Russian military killed 7 people in Donetsk region. Pavlo Kyrylenko, the head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration, posted on Telegram. 3 people were killed in Bakhmut, 2 in Donetsk, 1 in Chasiv Yar and 1 in Klishivka. Mr. Kyrylenko added that it is currently impossible to determine the accurate number of victims in Mariupol and Volnovakha. Late on September 22, the Russian army shelled Slavyansk again. They struck S-300 missiles in the neighborhood of the meat factory. Vadim Lyakh, the head of the Slavyansk city military administration, posted on Facebook. He wrote that the attack did not kill or injure anyone. S-300 hit near the meat factory. Luckily, no victims, Mr. Lyakh noted. 19 people, including 2 children, were rescued by the state emergency service personnel from the 9-story building destroyed by Russian forces in Donetsk, said Pavlo Kyrylenko, the head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration. He added that the Russians hit the apartment building with a missile late on September 22. According to Mr. Kyrylenko, most residents of the building evacuated as only 10 apartments out of 53 were inhabited. That's why we can say the consequences of such a powerful strike are light. Only 1 person was injured. It's another example that evacuation saves lives, he wrote. According to the Kharkiv Regional Prosecutor's Office, the Ukrainian law enforcement officers removed 2 500 kilograms aerial bombs from residential blocks in the liberated Kupiansk. During the town survey on September 22, prosecutors of Kupiansk District Prosecutor's Office, jointly with the policemen, found FAB 500 parachuted airdropped concrete piercing bombs. One such bomb weighs 500 kilograms and is over 2 meters long. The places where FAB 500 were dropped include residential areas. The invaders dropped the bombs right on the houses, the prosecutor's office reports. It is not detailed when exactly the Russians dropped these bombs. One can see in the photo that one of them did not detonate and lies near the gate of a detached house. The other bomb fell apart on the grass. On the night of September 23, the Russian army barraged Nikopolsky district in Dnipropetrovsk region. Valentin Reznichenko, the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration, posted on Telegram. He wrote that nearly 30 shells were launched from Grad systems and heavy artillery on Nikopol and Marhanets. In the aftermath of the barrage, 2 people were killed in Marhanets, a man and a woman. It is estimated that 9 more people were wounded. The rescuers saved 3 of them from under the debris. A house caught fire in the town. The fire was extinguished. 8 houses were damaged and 1 was destroyed. The barrage left 2,200 households without electricity. In Nikopol, 10 houses are said to have been damaged. The police and rescuers are working at the scene. The scope of destruction has been investigated, Mr. Reznichenko wrote. The head of the Sumy Regional Military Administration reported that on September 22, Russian forces shelled 10 hromadas of Sumy region. 1 woman was injured in Velika Pisarivka hromada. There are 2 women and a man in Khotin hromada. In the village of Yezdetske of the Velika Pisarivka hromada, 7 houses and power lines were also damaged and 6 cars were broken. 3 villages of the hromada remained without electricity. Currently, the electricity supply has been restored. 2 women and a man, wounded as a result of shelling of the village of Khotin from the Russian territory, were taken to the hospital. According to the Regional Military Administration, an enterprise, a house and 2 cars were also damaged in Khotin hromada. After 4 p.m., shelling of Myropilla hromada began. The property of civilians was damaged there. Windows, fences, walls of residential and commercial premises were broken. Chickens were killed by fragments in one of the yards. In total, on September 22, Russian forces shelled 10 hromadas of Sumy region, namely Shaligine, Velika Pisarivka, Bilopilla, Krasnopilla, Znop-Novhorodske, Esman, Khotin, Yunakivka, Seredina Buda and Myropil, the head of the Sumy region reported. Zaporizhzhia Regional Military Administration reported that on the night of September 23, the Russians launched a rocket attack on Zaporizhzhia and a city in Zaporizhzhia district. Infrastructure objects and residential buildings were destroyed. 3 people were injured. In particular, in Zaporizhzhia, a civil infrastructure object was destroyed. Houses and cars around were damaged. Currently, we know of 3 injured people who have been hospitalized with minor injuries. Also, one of the rockets hit a building near the city in Zaporizhzhia district. There are no casualties. Appropriate services are working at the scene of events. Acting mayor of Zaporizhzhia, Anatoly Kurtsev, adds that at least 10 rockets hit the city. As of 7:30 a.m., it was known about 7 damaged houses in which the windows were blown out. Update: during the rocket attack on Zaporizhzhia, in particular, a car wash in Voznesensky district was destroyed and cars in the parking lot were also destroyed. According to the preliminary information of the owner of the parking lot, about 50 cars were damaged. There are no injured. Mykolaiv Regional Military Administration reports that on September 23, about 25 minutes to 1 a.m., explosions rang out in Mykolaiv. Russian troops once again shelled the city. According to Mykolaiv Regional Military Administration, based on preliminary data, the office building of the industrial infrastructure object was affected. Private houses, water supply and electricity networks were also damaged. We managed to free 215 of our people from Russian captivity. The deputy commander of the Azov regiment, Sviatoslav Palamar, call sign Kalina, is among the released prisoners. He was talking to his son. The son recognized him and said, "Daddy, we are waiting for you. We bought everything, just come back." I say, "Tonya, what did he say?" "He told me to convey his greetings to you, that he misses you very much, that he is alive, has returned from captivity, and everything will be fine." I also want to thank all the defenders of Ukraine who right now, right on this day, right at this hour, are performing their combat tasks at combat posts, fighting for our Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. I have such emotions, such feelings that I thank God that I saw my son, because for 4 months I didn't know where he was. Sviatoslav, together with 4 defenders of Azovstal, is in Turkey, according to the agreements. Immediately after his release, Sviatoslav called his wife and said that everything was fine with him, and later called his mother. He said, "Mom, everything is fine. They fed us. There are so many things we cannot disclose." Kalina recorded his last public appeal before his capture on May 19, and the next day he called his mother for the last time. Mama. He said, "Mom, I will be out of touch for a while, but don't worry." Sviatoslav defended Ukraine since 2014. Lydia says that the Azov regiment is his second family. In 2016, the man got married and lived in Mariupol. Later, Sviatoslav had a son. Sviatoslav's wife told Lydia the news about the prisoners. All this time in Mykolaiv, Lydia was weaving nets for the military on the front line in order to speed up the victory and distract herself. I dreamed that he wanted broth, because when he was still in Mariupol, he was in those catacombs, and we asked how the food was and what he wanted. He said bread. Honestly, he only asked for bread, even a piece of bread, because they only had a Mars, and that's all, because the water they used there, they shared. It was very difficult there. And what does he like? I will cook cabbage rolls, borscht, I will make dumplings as well. The mother said that today, for the first time, she will be able to sleep peacefully, knowing that her child is safe, but she continues to worry and pray for the soldiers who remained in captivity. We have a guy from Mykolaiv, Alexander Koluda. He's also from Azov. His mother's name is also Lida. I don't know if she has such news, because her son is in Olenivka, but he's alive. And we'll all keep our hands and pray. And I have to meet her, because it is joy. Joy not only for me, but surely for everyone.